The next morning, Liam was led to a quiet garden inside the palace. The walls were high, and the sound of the city felt far away here. Sunlight fell in soft patterns through the leaves of tall, crystal-leaf trees, and a stream of clear water wound through the grass. Princess Aria stood by the stream, her hands folded in front of her. She turned when she heard his footsteps. "Liam," she said, her voice calm, "I thought we should speak without guards or attendants. There are things you must know." Her tone was serious, and Liam felt a knot form in his stomach. "All right," he said slowly. Aria began walking along the stream, and Liam followed. "When you came here," she said, "it was not by chance. Portals between worlds are rare. They do not open for just anyone. My people have studied them for centuries. We know they appear only when the life-forge crystal senses a certain kind of presence." "What kind of presence?" Liam asked. "One that carries energy unlike ours," she replied. "One that can connect to the crystal in ways we cannot." Liam frowned. "You think I have that?" "I am certain. You do," Aria said, her violet eyes holding his. "And that is why I cannot let you leave yet. You may be the key to protecting Selvaris." Liam stopped walking. "Protect it from what? Yesterday I saw your guards watching the skies. And that shadow, what was it?" Aria hesitated. "Enemies from beyond the mountains," she said finally. "They have long sought our crystal. If they control it, they can take everything. Our city, our skies, even the light of our suns." She sat down on a stone bench, motioning for him to join her. "The shadow you saw was one of their ships. They are testing our defenses." Liam sat slowly. "And you think I can help stop them?" "Yes," she said simply. "When you touched the portal, it responded to you. When you stood in the life-forged chamber, the crystal pulsed brighter. You can connect to it in ways even I cannot. That connection could be used to strengthen our shields, or to open new portals if we must move our people." Liam rubbed the back of his neck. "That sounds important, but also dangerous." "It is both," Aria agreed. "And that is why I need you here." Her honesty caught him off guard. She wasn't hiding her reason anymore. She wanted him to stay because she believed his presence could save her city. Liam didn't know what to say. Part of him felt a strange responsibility. He hadn't asked for this. But if what she said was true, walking away would feel wrong. Another part of him still wanted to go home, back to the forests and the ruins he understood. They walked back toward the palace, slowly. Along the way, Liam saw more signs of tension, extra guards patrolling the streets, supply carts being hurried toward storage halls, and watchtowers with bright beacons ready to light the skies at night. When they reached the main gates, Aria paused. "I will arrange for you to meet our scholars tomorrow. They can teach you more about the crystal, and perhaps how to use your connection to it." Liam nodded, though his thoughts were tangled. "All right, I'll listen." That night, the city felt different. The streets were quieter, and even the floating lights seemed dimmer. From his balcony, Liam could see the life-forged tower in the distance, its crystal peak glowing steadily. He leaned on the railing, wondering what tomorrow would bring. That was when he heard voices below. Two guards stood in the courtyard, speaking, in low tones. "The portal is unstable. If the enemy finds it," one said. "They won't," the other replied. "The princess won't let him near it again." Liam stepped back from the balcony, his heart beating faster. They were talking about him, about keeping him away from the portal. The next morning, Liam was taken to the scholars' hall. The building was tall and quiet, filled with books, glowing tablets, and strange tools. The head scholar, a thin man with pale golden eyes, greeted him. "We have been waiting for you," the man said. "Come." They led him to a round chamber where a smaller crystal, about the size of a person, floated above the floor. Its light was soft, but Liam felt warmth from it even before he stepped close. "Place your hand on it," the scholar said. Liam hesitated, then touched the surface. The crystal flared brighter, and a faint hum filled the room. The scholars exchanged quick, excited glances. "It is true," one whispered. "He resonates with it." Liam pulled his hand back. "Resonates? It means the crystal answers." "To you," the head scholar explained. "With training, you may guide its energy. You could strengthen our defenses, perhaps even more." By the time he left the scholars' hall, Liam's head was spinning. He didn't fully understand how it worked, but it was clear the people here saw him as something important. When he returned to the palace gardens, Arya was waiting. "So," she said, "you see now why you cannot leave." Liam looked at her, unsure what to say. She wasn't asking. She was telling him. And somehow he knew she meant every word. That evening, as the suns dipped low, Liam stood again on his balcony. Beyond the city walls, he saw something moving in the distance, dark shapes rising from behind the mountains. They were far away. But even from here, he could see the faint glint of metal in the fading light. The enemy was coming, and if Arya was right, he was now part of the only chance Selvaris had to survive. The morning after the battle, Selvaris felt like a wounded but living thing. Smoke still curled from broken rooftops, and the air carried the sharp scent of scorched crystal. Workers hurried through the streets, carrying tools and supplies, while healers moved from house to house. From the balcony of his guest room, Liam watched it all in silence. He had helped a little the day before, but the truth was clear. This city had survived only by a thin margin. The enemy had been close to breaking through. A knock at the door broke his thoughts. It was one of Arya's guards. "The princess asks you to come," the guard said. "She says it is time you know the full truth." Liam followed the guard through quiet palace corridors until they reached a narrow stairway spiraling down into the earth. The air grew cooler with each step. At the bottom, a pair of heavy silver doors waited. They opened with a deep hum, revealing a wide hall lit by soft blue crystals in the walls. Arya stood at the center beside a large circular platform made of dark stone. Her gown was simpler today, her hair tied back. She looked less like a ruler, and more like someone carrying a heavy burden. "You trust me enough to come here," she said. Liam glanced around. "Where is here?" "The oldest part of the palace," Arya replied. "Older than Selvaris itself. This is where the first record of the portal was kept." She touched the edge of the platform, and light spread across its surface. Images formed in the air, glowing shapes of people, cities, and landscapes Liam didn't recognize. "Long ago," Arya began, "our ancestors were not alone in this world. Portals connected Selvaris to other places, other worlds. Your world was one of them." Liam stared at the images. The figures shown were not exactly human, but some looked close, their skin less shimmering, their features simpler. "They came here," Arya continued, "not as conquerors but as wanderers. Some stayed, some returned home. Over time, the worlds drifted apart, and the portals grew rare. But their blood mixed with ours. Their ideas shaped our city. We remember them as the Starborn." Liam pointed at one of the images, a group of people standing together, some clearly human, others like Arya's people. "You're saying some of your ancestors were human?" Arya met his gaze. "Yes. And that is why the crystal reacts to you. You carry a spark of that same connection." Liam's mind spun. He had come through the portal by accident, or so he thought. But if what she was saying was true, then maybe it had been inevitable. The image changed. Now it showed a dark fleet approaching a shining city. Arya's voice grew quieter. "The ones who attacked yesterday, they are not strangers to us. They are a broken branch of our own people, twisted by greed and hunger for power." Long ago, they tried to take the life forge. They were driven away, but they never forgot their defeat. Now they believe the crystal's energy, combined with the strength of someone like you, could open portals anywhere they choose. Liam understood. Now why she had been so determined to keep him here. If the enemy captured him, they might gain exactly what they needed. He took a slow breath. So the portal that brought me here, was it meant for me? Aria's eyes softened. The crystal sensed you. It chose you. I do not fully understand why, but I believe it is because you are tied to both worlds. That makes you dangerous to our enemies, and precious to us. Liam looked at the glowing floor. If I go back to my world, can they follow me? Not easily, Aria said. But if they capture the life forge, no door will remain closed to them. She stepped closer, her voice steady but low. That is why I need you here. Not just for today, but for the days to come. We must prepare for when they return. Liam thought of the market streets filled with smoke, of the children he had led to safety, of the crystal pulsing under his hands. He had never imagined being part of something so large and so dangerous. But he also thought of the forest ruins back home, of the quiet mornings by himself. There was a whole life waiting for him there. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he asked, "If I stay, will I learn how to use the crystal?" Aria nodded. "Yes. The scholars will teach you. You will learn to strengthen our shields, and perhaps to open a portal if we ever need to send people to safety." "And if I don't stay?" Liam asked. A shadow crossed her face. "Then we will try to send you home. But the portal is unstable. You might not make it through, and even if you do, we will be weaker when they return." Silence settled between them. The soft blue light from the walls seemed to flicker as if the crystal itself was listening. Finally, Aria touched the platform again, and the images faded. "You do not need to decide now," she said, "but soon the choice will be made, by you or by the war." Later, back in his room, Liam sat by the balcony, watching the 3 moons rise over Selvaris. He could hear the city rebuilding. Below the sounds of hammers and distant voices, he now understood why Aria wouldn't let him leave. It wasn't about keeping a stranger. It was about holding on to the one piece of hope she believed could save her world. But hope came with a price, and Liam still wasn't sure if he was ready to pay it. The morning in Selvaris came with soft golden light from the 2 suns. Liam woke to the sound of gentle chimes outside his window. When he stepped onto the balcony, the view took his breath away. The city stretched out in shining curves and tall, crystal towers. Silver bridges hung in the air without supports, linking platforms that floated above the streets. Gardens spilled over rooftops, their flowers glowing faintly even in daylight. Above, flocks of bright winged creatures flew in, perfect circles. Liam had never seen anything so strange and beautiful at the same time. A soft knock came at his door. A young attendant entered, carrying a tray with bread-like rolls, sliced purple fruit, and a cup of something steaming. "Breakfast, guest," the attendant said politely, bowing before leaving again. The food tasted different but good, sweet, and slightly tangy. Liam took his time eating, then decided he needed to see more of this place. When he stepped out into the hallway, 2 guards stood waiting. Their armor was smooth and pale, like polished stone, and their helmets left their faces uncovered. "Princess Aria wishes to see you," one of them said. They led him through the winding streets. Everywhere they went, people paused to look at him. Some smiled, others simply stared. Liam noticed that most of them kept a respectful distance, but their eyes followed his every move. Finally, the guards brought him to a broad plaza. In the Yasandi center stood a huge fountain shaped like a spiral shell, water flowing upward in smooth streams before falling again in a soft mist. Aria was there, standing by the fountain with her hands folded. The sunlight caught in her hair, and her violet eyes seemed even brighter in the open air. "You're awake," she said. "Good. There's much I wish to show you." They began walking together through the city. Aria moved gracefully, and the crowd parted easily wherever she went. She pointed out different places: the sky gardens, where plants floated in crystal spheres; the river of mist, a thin stream that drifted above the ground instead of flowing on it; the market hall, where traders from far regions sold glowing stones, soft metallic fabrics, and jars of bright powder. Liam couldn't stop asking questions. "How do your buildings float? What powers your lights? Do you have ships that fly?" Aria smiled slightly at his curiosity. "We use what we call the lifelight. It is the energy of Selvaris itself, drawn from the great crystal at the city's heart." Liam remembered the tower he had seen the night before. "That's what I saw glowing in the distance," he said. She nodded. "It keeps the city alive. Without it, Selvaris would fall." As they walked, Liam noticed a group of guards standing on a high platform, scanning the skies. Their expressions were tense, their eyes sharp. "Are they looking for something?" he asked. Aria's smile faded just slightly. "There are rumors, a disturbance beyond the mountains. We must always be ready." That answer didn't satisfy him, but he let it go for now. Later, they entered the Grand Hall, a huge building with wide glass windows and pillars shaped like twisting vines. Inside, a holographic map of the city floated in the air, glowing with blue light. Aria led him to the map's center. "This," she said, pointing to a bright spot in the middle, "is the Life Forge. It is where the great crystal stands. It is also where the readings from your arrival were recorded." "Readings?" Liam repeated. "Yes. When you came through the portal, the crystal felt it. It was as if a second sun had shone for a moment. The energy you carried is not the same as ours." Liam frowned. "I didn't bring anything." "Perhaps not in your hands," Aria said, studying him. "But something in you responds to our energy." Her words made him uneasy. It felt like she knew more than she was telling. By midday, they had returned to the palace. Aria invited him to a shaded balcony where cool breezes drifted in from the gardens. Servants brought plates of fresh food and cups of clear, sweet water. Aria leaned back slightly, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "Tell me about your world," she said. Liam hesitated, then began speaking about Earth, the oceans, mountains, and forests, the animals both wild and tame, the cities filled with noise and lights. Aria listened closely, her eyes almost shining. "At the mention of rain and snow, you have seas that cover most of your world," she murmured. "And yet you say your people still thirst in some places. Strange." "It's not perfect," Liam admitted. "We have good things, but also problems." Aria was quiet for a moment, then said softly, "Here in Selvaris, we have our own problems, too, and some of them are close." Before Liam could ask what she meant, a deep sound rolled through the air. Not thunder, but a kind of metallic hum. People in the courtyard below looked up sharply. High above, a shadow passed across the twin suns, blotting out their light for a moment. Aria's expression tightened. "The guards will handle it," she said quickly, though her voice had lost its calm tone. From the corner of his eye, Liam saw silver gliders rising into the air, their wings catching the sunlight as they sped toward the shadow. The sound faded, and the shadow disappeared beyond the city walls. The crowd slowly returned to their activities, though the air felt different now. Tense, expectant. That evening, Liam returned to his room with more questions than answers. He sat by the balcony again, watching the lights of the city flicker to life. He thought about Aria's words, about the crystal and the energy it felt when he arrived. He thought about the guards watching the sky and the strange shadow that had passed over the suns. Somewhere in this world, something was moving, and somehow, he was connected to it. And though Aria had promised to keep him safe, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that her real reason for keeping him in Selvaris was still hidden. Liam liked to explore. Not the kind of exploring where you travel across countries or sail across seas. He preferred quiet places close to home. His small town sat on the edge of a thick forest, and inside that forest were old ruins, half buried and forgotten. Most people stayed away from them. The stones were strange, smooth, and cold even in summer. Some walls were covered with carvings no one could read. The ruins were quiet, almost too quiet, but Liam always felt drawn to them. On a bright morning, he packed his small bag, water, notebook, and a flashlight, and walked into the forest. Sunlight broke through the leaves in thin golden lines. Birds sang, and somewhere far away a stream rushed over rocks. It took him almost an hour to reach the deepest part of the forest. There, between two twisted oak trees, he saw something new. It was an arch, not like the stone arches he'd seen before. This one was made of a silver-like material, smooth as glass but covered with faint lines that glowed pale blue in the shadows. It was about twice his height, standing perfectly upright in the middle of a mossy clearing. Liam stepped closer, heart beating fast. He ran his hand over the surface. It felt warm, almost alive. Then, without warning, the blue lines brightened. The air inside the arch shimmered like heat above a road. A low hum rose from the ground, and the world seemed to tilt under his feet. "What the?" Liam whispered. The humming grew louder. The space inside the arch swirled with light, spinning faster and faster until it looked like a storm trapped in a doorway. A pull, gentle at first, tugged at his chest. Then it became stronger, dragging him forward. He tried to step back, but his legs wouldn't listen. The force yanked him through the arch. There was no ground, no sky, only endless, light and rushing wind. His ears rang, his stomach twisted, and then he hit the ground. Hard. When Liam opened his eyes, the forest was gone. He lay on a smooth, white stone floor under a bright blue sky. But the sky wasn't like home. Two suns hung high above, one gold and one pale silver, casting strange, overlapping shadows. Around him rose tall towers of crystal and silver, their surfaces catching the sunlight and scattering it into rainbows. The air smelled faintly of flowers, but the plants nearby were like nothing he had seen before. Vines with leaves shaped like stars, flowers that glowed faintly even in daylight. People were staring at him. They were tall, graceful, and human-like, but not quite. Their skin shimmered faintly, catching the light like water. Their eyes were larger than his, bright with colors that didn't exist on Earth, deep violets, soft golds, and pale blues. One figure stepped forward from the crowd. She wore a flowing gown of white and silver, and a delicate headpiece shaped. Like two curved wings rested on her hair. Her skin had a soft, natural beauty, and her violet eyes studied him with curiosity rather than fear. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice calm but strong. Liam pushed himself up slowly. I'm Liam. Where am I?" The woman's lips curved slightly. "You are in Selvaris, my city." She paused, then added, "I am Princess Aria." Princess. The word made Liam's mind race. He had no idea how he got here or why she was calling it her city. He glanced back, hoping to see the arch, but behind him was only the same crystal courtyard and the people watching. "I don't know how I got here," he said honestly. "One moment I was in the forest, then there was a portal, I think. And now a portal," Aria repeated, her eyes narrowing slightly. She turned to a man standing beside her, tall, with armor that gleamed like polished steel. Send word to the tower. They must investigate. The man bowed and left. Quickly. Arya looked at Liam again. You will come with me. Until we know how you arrived, you are my guest. They walked through the city together. Everywhere Liam looked, he saw wonders. Walkways of glass floating over gardens, fountains that poured water upward before letting it fall again, small creatures with transparent wings flying in spirals through the air. People stepped aside as Arya passed, bowing respectfully. Some whispered when they saw Liam, their eyes filled with curiosity. You're not surprised to see me? Liam asked. Arya glanced at him. You are the first of your kind to set foot in Selvaris in many lifetimes, but our records speak of other visitors long ago. Liam tried to make sense of that. You mean other humans? She didn't answer right away. Perhaps, she said finally. They stopped at a tall building shaped like a spiral seashell. Inside, the air was cool, and walls of pale crystal gave off a soft glow. Arya led him to a round chamber where cushions were arranged around a low table. Sit, she said. Liam lowered himself onto a cushion, still trying to keep his head from spinning. Is there a way for me to go back? Perhaps, Arya said again. But portals are rare and unstable. It may take time. Her eyes held his for a moment longer than expected. There was something in her gaze. Curiosity, yes. But also a strange intensity, as if she were weighing a decision. You will stay here for now, she said. You will be safe. And I have many questions for you. That night, Liam lay in a guest room overlooking the city. The twin suns had set, replaced by a dark sky scattered with 3 moons. Lights floated through the streets like tiny stars. He should have felt lucky to see this, a whole other world. But part of him felt uneasy, the way Arya had spoken. It was as if she already had plans for him. Somewhere in the distance, a low hum rose again, the same sound he'd heard in the portal. Liam leaned on the balcony, staring toward a tall tower in the heart of the city. Its crystal peak pulsed faintly with blue light. He didn't know it yet, but the portal had not just brought him here by accident. Something, or someone, wanted him in Selvaris, and Princess Arya was not planning to let him leave easily. The next day began with a heavy stillness over Selvaris. The usual sounds of the city, the singing birds, the chatter in the market, the soft hum of the floating platforms, all felt quieter. People walked quickly, their eyes drifting toward the sky more often than toward the road. From his balcony, Liam could see the guards on the rooftops, scanning the horizon. The twin suns were bright, but the air felt tense, as if the city itself was holding its breath. Princess Arya summoned Liam to the Lifeforge Tower in the late morning. He was escorted through wide, glowing halls until they reached a large, open platform at the top. The crystal at the center was enormous, taller than any building in his hometown. Its surface shimmered with slow waves of blue light, and faint sparks danced inside it like stars trapped in glass. Arya stood beside it, speaking to a group of commanders. She turned when she saw Liam. "You came?" she said. "Good. Stay close to me today. I believe we may need you sooner than expected." Liam glanced at the crystal. "Because of the enemy?" "Yes," she said simply. The meeting ended quickly. As the commanders left, a sudden deep hum rolled through the air, the same metallic sound Liam had heard before. Arya's head snapped toward the horizon. "They're here," she said. From the high platform, Liam saw it. A fleet of dark, spiked ships cutting through the clouds. Their shapes were jagged and sharp, their hulls gleaming black in the sunlight. The sight made his chest tighten. "Shields up!" one of the commanders shouted. A faint dome of blue light began to spread over the city, powered by the crystal below. The enemy fleet moved faster than he expected. Beams of red energy shot from their ships, striking the shields with loud cracks of light. The dome trembled but held. Aria's guards rushed to her side. "Princess, you must get to the lower halls," one urged. "No," Aria said firmly. "My place is here. If the life forge falls, the city falls with it." She turned to Liam. "You can help. The crystal responds to you. Stand by it. Focus on strength. Imagine the shield growing stronger." Liam hesitated. He had no training for this, but stepped forward anyway. He placed both hands on the crystal's smooth surface. At once, a wave of warmth spread through his body. The blue light inside the crystal flared brighter. Outside, the shield shimmered and thickened, the enemy beams splashing harmlessly against it. Liam gritted his teeth, concentrating. It felt like pushing against a heavy door with his mind. Below, the Selvaris defenders launched their silver gliders into the air. Sleek and fast, they darted toward the enemy ships, firing bursts of blue energy that crackled against the dark hulls. One of the enemy ships broke formation and dove toward the city. Its weapons glowed as it prepared to fire directly at the life forge. "Tower! Liam!" Aria called. "Hold it! Just a little longer!" He pushed harder, the crystal's glow brightening until the whole platform was bathed in blue light. The ship's beam hit the shield and scattered into sparks. The defenders, gliders, swarmed around the attacker, forcing it back toward the fleet. But the battle was far from over. A sudden explosion rocked the tower. Liam stumbled back from the crystal. Below, part of the shield flickered. A section over the market had gone dark. Enemy ships immediately targeted the gap, sending blasts into the buildings there. "No!" Aria ran to the edge of the platform. "They're inside the perimeter!" From above, Liam saw invaders in black armor descending on small landing craft. Smoke began to rise from the streets. Without thinking, Liam turned to Aria. "I can help down there." Her eyes widened. "You are not trained?" "I've helped evacuate people before. Just tell me where to go." She hesitated only a moment before nodding. "The East Market. The shield there is gone. Get as many civilians out as you can." One of the guards handed Liam a small silver device. "Press this to signal us if you are in danger." Liam raced down the tower steps with 2 guards at his side. The streets were chaos, people running, carts overturned, smoke and fire curling into the air. The invaders moved in small groups, their weapons spitting red light at anyone who resisted. He spotted a group of children huddled near a collapsed bridge. Without the shield, the air was filled with falling debris from nearby buildings. "Come on," Liam shouted, waving them over. "Follow me!" They ran through narrow alleys, avoiding the main streets where the fighting was worst. Twice, the guards with him fired their energy lances to drive back attackers. At one corner, an invader dropped from a rooftop, blocking their path. Liam froze, but one of the guards shoved him aside and stepped forward, shield raised. The clash was quick, the guard's energy blade striking with a flash of light, and then the way was clear. They reached a safer district where the shield still held. Civilians rushed to take the children inside. By the time Liam made it back toward the life forge, the battle above had shifted. Several enemy ships were retreating, black smoke trailing behind them. The Selvaris gliders chased the rest toward the horizon. On the platform, Aria stood beside the crystal, her gown marked with dust and scorch marks. She turned when she saw him. "You made it," she said, relief clear in her voice. "They're safe," Liam replied, catching his breath. The last of the enemy fleet vanished into the clouds. Slowly, the tension in the air began to fade. The blue dome of the shield flickered, then steadied. Aria looked out over the city, at the smoke, the damaged towers, the people gathering in the streets. "We drove them back this time," she said quietly. "But they will return, and next time, they will strike harder." She glanced at Liam. "Now you understand why I cannot let you leave." Liam met her gaze. He did understand. And yet, the Weight of it settled heavily on his shoulders. The battle was over, but the war for Selvaris had only just begun. The next days passed in a strange rhythm. By morning, the city worked hard to rebuild. By night, the palace halls filled with quiet discussions about the enemy and the portal. Liam spent his days in the palace training hall with Aria's scholars. They showed him how to focus on the crystal's energy, how to send light through it, and how to calm it when it grew unstable. At first, nothing happened, but slowly he began to feel a soft warmth in his hands whenever he touched the crystal. "It listens to you," one scholar said with awe, "like it knows you already." Even as he learned, Liam's thoughts kept drifting back to one question: stay or go? Sometimes, while walking through the market streets, he imagined himself back home. He pictured the tall trees, the old stone bridge near his town, the familiar smell of rain on earth. It would be so easy to walk away from this strange world, from this war that wasn't his. But then he would remember the faces of the people here, the healers who worked without rest, the children playing among half-repaired walls, and Aria, standing proud even after the battle. Leaving them to face danger alone felt wrong. One evening, as the orange light of sunset spilled across the balcony, Aria came to see him. She carried no guards this time. "You have been quiet lately?" she said. "I've been thinking," Liam replied, "about what happens next." She walked to the edge of the balcony, her gaze on the distant mountains. "I wish I could make the choice for you, but that would be no different from trapping you here. You must decide for yourself." For a moment, they both listened to the wind moving through the palace gardens. "If I go home," Liam said slowly, "you'll have one less fighter. But if I stay, I'm giving up my old life." Aria turned to him. "And if you go home, the enemy will still search for you. Your world is not beyond their reach forever." That thought sent a chill through Liam. "You think they could follow me?" "Yes," Aria said firmly. "If they gain enough power. That is why the Life Forge must be guarded, and why you must be ready to face them no matter where you are." The next day, the choice came sooner than expected. A rider arrived at the palace gates, his clothes scorched, his voice urgent. "The enemy was seen near the outer ruins. They are searching for something. Perhaps another way into the city." Aria ordered scouts to investigate. Liam, without thinking, stepped forward. "I'll go with them." She hesitated. "It will be dangerous." "That's the point," he said. "If I'm going to make my choice, I should see exactly what we're fighting." The scouts moved quickly, crossing rocky ground until they reached the ruins, tall, broken towers half buried in sand. The air was dry, and a low wind whistled through the cracks in the stone. From behind a wall, Liam saw them, a small enemy group, cloaked in dark armor, searching the ground. One of them carried a crystal shard, glowing faintly. "They're looking for a portal key," whispered the scout leader. Before they could decide on a plan, the enemy spotted them. A sharp cry went up, and dark figures rushed forward. The fight was quick and fierce. Liam, untrained in weapons, focused on the crystal shard one enemy dropped. He grabbed it, and warmth pulsed in his hands, the same feeling as the Life Forge. Suddenly, light burst from the shard, pushing the attackers back. The scouts seized the moment and drove the enemy away. When it was over, Liam stared at the shard in his hand. "It reacted to me," he said quietly. "Yes," the scout leader replied. "Just like the Life Forge." Back at the palace, Aria listened as Liam told her what happened. Her expression was serious. That shard was part of an old portal. If they had taken it, they could have opened a path anywhere. Liam looked down at his hands. "They'll keep coming. I know that now." Aria stepped closer. "And now you must decide. Will you fight with us, or return and hope they never reach your world?" Night fell over Selvaris. The moons rose, silver and pale, lighting the gardens. Liam stood in the center, alone with his thoughts. His life before the portal had been quiet, safe. But safe didn't mean meaningful. Here, in this strange place, he had seen people willing to protect each other no matter the cost. He had felt power flow through his hands, and he had stopped an enemy from opening another portal. He finally understood. The choice wasn't only about staying or leaving. It was about whether he could turn away from what he now knew. When Arya found him there, he was ready. "I'll stay," Liam said. "Not because I have to, because I choose to. If this fight is coming for both our worlds, then I'd rather face it here with people who are ready." A small smile touched Arya's face, though her eyes shone with relief. "Then we will face it together." Above them, the moons shone brighter, as if the world itself had heard his choice. The days that followed were filled with preparation. Selvaris had no time to rest. The city worked non-stop to repair shields, train defenders, and strengthen the Life-Forge crystal's power. Liam spent every moment learning how to use his connection with the crystal. Arya was often by his side, encouraging him, sharing the burdens of leadership. The people looked to them both with hope shining in their eyes. One morning, the sky darkened suddenly. The twin suns disappeared behind thick clouds, and a chill ran through the air. Alarms echoed across the city as the enemy fleet returned, larger, faster, more powerful than before. "Today," Arya said, her voice steady but filled with steel, "we end this." The battle began with a roar. Enemy ships poured over the city walls like a storm of black lightning. They fired beams and missiles, striking the shield again and again. Liam stood at the Life Forge, hands pressed to the giant crystal. He could feel its energy rushing through him, bright, fierce, and wild. Slowly, he learned to shape it, to send it out in waves of blue light that pushed back the attackers. Beside him, Arya directed the defenders. "Focus on the ships near the towers. Keep the shield strong." Above the city, gliders swooped and darted, clashing with enemy fighters in bursts of flashing light. Buildings shook from explosions, but the shield held. Suddenly, one of the enemy ships broke through and flew straight for the Life-Forge tower. "Liam!" Arya called. "You must stop it!" With a deep breath, Liam reached deep inside himself, drawing energy from the crystal and from the strange bond he felt with Selvaris. He sent out a pulse, bright and strong, that hit the ship full force. It staggered, then exploded in a shower of sparks. The enemy faltered, but they were not finished. Dark shapes moved through the city streets, fighting hand-to-hand with Selvaris defenders. Liam rushed down from the tower with a squad of guards to help. The fighting was fierce. The invaders were skilled and determined, but the people of Selvaris fought with heart and hope. During a break in the battle, Arya and Liam stood on a rooftop overlooking the city. "This fight is more than just about survival," Arya said quietly. "It is about the future, of our people, of both our worlds." Liam nodded. "I understand now. The portal isn't just a doorway. It is a bridge between our past and our future." As the battle reached its peak, Liam felt the crystal inside. The Life Forge began to pulse wildly. The energy was stronger than ever, almost too strong to hold. Arya grabbed his arm. "You must use it now. Open the portal." "Open the portal?" Liam repeated, shocked. "Yes," Arya said. "If we open it here, we can send reinforcements from your world. Help will come." Liam took a deep breath and placed both hands on the crystal. He closed his eyes and reached out with his mind. Light filled the chamber, swirling and growing until it formed a doorway shimmering with blue energy. Through it, Liam saw his own world, the forest, the ruins, the small town he had come from. Arya smiled softly. "Go home. Bring back those who will fight with us." Liam stepped toward the portal, then turned back once more. "I will return," he promised. "I won't leave Selvaris to face this alone." With that, he stepped through the portal, the light closing behind him. Back in his world, Liam quickly found friends who believed his story and were willing to help. Together, they prepared to join the fight for Selvaris. Meanwhile, on the other side, the portal remained open, a bridge of hope and strength between two worlds. And Princess Aria waited, knowing that the future depended on the courage of strangers and the power of a crystal bond that spanned the stars.